have we gotten to the point, and this is by no means a criticism at all, but I think it's a question that I'm asking myself. Have we gotten to the point where Ahsoka is perhaps the most significant relationship that Anakin / Vader has? Because because everything else is very, we know what we know how he ends his relationship with Padme. We know how he ends his relationship with Obi-Wan, the Council, Yoda, even Palpatine at the very end of his life. But what we don't know, the one big piece of the puzzle that we don't have, is what he did with or to Ahsoka. And it really is, I think, a very, very valuable piece of information, the makeup of Darth Vader, because we've been debating a lot about whether or not that when you very specifically used Matt's voice to call out to Ahsoka, was that a clue that was a chink? Now, Jimmy and I, we disagree on this, because I think that shows a chink in his armor. I think that shows a weakening of Vader, a drop of the character. Jimmy says no.
Yeah, I disagree, Dave. I think that it was all a ruse. I think he was just trying to play on Ahsoka's sentiments and emotions to try to lure her to join him on the dark side. That's what he wanted to do. It's the same thing he wanted to do with Luke in Empire. He wanted to bring Luke into the dark side fold so the two of them could topple the Emperor. Well, here he sees Ahsoka, and he knows Ahsoka and realizes he can get to her, so he tries to bring her across. I don't think anyone can possibly touch the Anakin Skywalker within Darth Vader until Luke does.
All right.
there's a lot of questions in there.
Yeah. No. This is very good.
Yes.
This is very good. I will answer this question. I was just trying to find a way to say that so that you guys don't fall over. I will. And here's the thing. Which I think is very fair. I mean, there's the intention that I have as the filmmaker, right? And I will tell you my thoughts as I was creating those scenes. Because the moment that Vader shows up to the end of that episode, I storyboarded myself, because I've been planning this for years. So I'm like, I can't persecute someone to try and do that. I have to find the time to do it myself. So I have intentions for all these things. That doesn't mean that like an opinion that you guys have and how you interpreted the scene is necessarily wrong. In fact, a lot of times I find the way that people view something that I've put together really fascinating, especially if it's not what I intended. And then I can kind of go, well, was that a failure on my part as a filmmaker? Or is that just an intriguing side effect of the story? I don't know, right? I think it depends how important the moment is. I think each of your analysis of this story point are very compelling. I would say that I had this notion that I always wanted to mix James Earl Jones's voice with Anakin Skywalker. I thought that like there's some connectivity there that I was just really fascinated with as a storyteller. I thought that would be very compelling, that this facade is broken and you hear this voice, right? Because how much of that voice is the mask? Versus the person. So when he calls out to her after the dramatic moment when he gets slashed himself in the face, right, by Ahsoka, this catastrophe happening all around. I believe that it is a brief moment of clarity for Anakin Skywalker, not because he feels empathy for Ahsoka, not because he has any thought of turning away from the dark side, but because in this moment of shock, right, that he's been struck and falls, it's like someone smacking you hard in the face, and inside, deep within, is still Anakin Skywalker. That's undeniable. And he sees what looks like Ahsoka across from him, and he says her name. In some ways, I don't know how conscious Anakin is of that. Because as Vader stands, right, every moment that passes after he says her name and has this moment of recognition between the two of them, it's actually the fact that he sees her and faces her in the eye, face to face, eye to eye, that Anakin Skywalker will retreat deep within Darth Vader. Mm. And Vader will say, then you will die. Because Ahsoka Tano to Darth Vader represents everything that maybe perhaps he was wrong about as Anakin, right? Because it's Anakin, he trained Ahsoka, he put all of his knowledge into her hands. She became a Jedi very much in the way that he was going to be a Jedi. She reminds him of Padme. She reminds him of Obi-Wan. She reminds him of growing up in the temple. And Darth Vader wants to destroy that. And Anakin Skywalker lives in denial of it and runs from it. She is not an opportunity like his son is. Come with me, join me. Because in a lot of ways, the idea of being Vader's son, Anakin's son, begins with, he is mine. Mm-hmm. That is mine. And when he says, we need not be adversaries, the Emperor will show you mercy, right? Well, that is more what, Jimmy, you're referring to, which is the lie. Mm-hmm. That's a lie. There's no way the Emperor is going to show her mercy. No way.
But
and
does
she
Anakin
knows
believe
that.
it? Does Anakin think that he might?
I don't think so. I mean, I think that Vader wants to destroy these people. You have to remember that Darth Vader is a different person than Anakin Skywalker at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That name no longer has any meaning for me, right? Mm-hmm. When she refers to her master, where one of his tells is he knows who she means. He knows she means Anakin Skywalker, but he says Anakin Skywalker's weak, and I destroyed him. You have to imagine this person that's so wrapped up in their hatred for themselves as much as external hate that he just can't deal with it. He needs to destroy her. So there isn't the empathy. I have never thought that she could be something that would turn him back from the dark side, because that would completely rob Luke, and it would make it seem like that story was somehow just one possibility of many, when I think that Luke or Leia are the only possibility of their father's redemption.
Dave, so in other words, it's not just him trying to rid himself internally of the memory of Anakin Skywalker. He has a desire to do it externally, right? Anything that reminds him of Anakin, or anything or anyone that has memory of Anakin.
I would say so. Yeah, this is one of the points George and I had discussed, which was that it's the very reason why there isn't any empathy for Ahsoka. It's not like he looks upon an old friend. He looks upon a horrible memory. Remember, it's connected to a bunch of painful memories, of which in one version symbolizes his loyalty to the Republic when everybody else betrayed him. So, he would see everyone else as a traitor, or he has to recognize his complete failure to side with his friends. Well, he's certainly not going to do that.
Hey, this is Dave Filoni of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and you are listening to Rebel Force Radio with Jason and Jimmy.